tonight's story is all the more proof that Halloween is the most spiritual night of the year. Hey witches, ghouls, and boos, or hello, hi, what up? Welcome back to my channel. Welcome if you're new. I'm Sabrina Bell, or Sabrina Kruger, and my goal is to make every single day feel like a Halloween fever dream. So subscribe for sweet dreams. I did not have time to make the burn marks, so the bruises, whatever, this works. Exactly what I like. Kind of cute, kind of creepy, you know. Anyways, I'm really excited about tonight's story. It genuinely reminds me of that song Hotel California. But enough chit-chatting. Let's get on with the video. Now, there's something about hotels that just fascinates me. And some people even say that hotels are actually portals to other dimensions, other realms. There's new energy in and out every minute of every day. Now, as the story goes, Lizzie was driving back from her cousin's funeral, which was really far and it would take her days to get back home. She'd been driving for almost 2 days straight. Yes, so she was starting to feel sleepy. For her own safety, she decided to stay at a hotel. However, she was in the middle of nowhere, so there was no hotel in sight. She kept on driving and fighting her sleep when she finally saw a hotel that was weirdly tucked into a hill. Just picture this: overgrown trees, flickering lights through the windows, some of the windows, which she thought was a bit creepy, but she was just exhausted. So she just parked her car and went inside. The guy at the front desk barely looked up as he was talking to her. He wouldn't even look at her. Just really rude. She asked for a room, but he just handed her the key without even looking at her or saying anything. Room 666. She looked at it and made a joke. The irony, you know, because it was Halloween night. But the guy didn't even care. He was just staring at her weirdly, completely ignoring whatever she was saying. Like, he was kind of annoyed at her, you know. Talk about customer service. So she just rolled her eyes and took off. She couldn't find her room anywhere. So she went back to the front desk and told him she couldn't find her room. Tell me why this guy just got up without saying a word. Well, I already know why. He's freaking rude. But he literally just got up and didn't say anything. All he did was like hand gesture to make her follow him, never saying a single word. He then started going downstairs and she was freaking the hell out. I mean, I would too. How creepy is that? So she asked him, downstairs? What room is downstairs? Where's the elevator? He just stared at her annoyed and she still followed him. As they were walking to the room, the other rooms, like the numbers of the other rooms, were kind of blurry, or they didn't even look like numbers at all. She was getting creeped out more and more, but she was so tired she didn't even give a damn, honestly. So he points her to her room and leaves. She then thinks to herself, damn, this guy needs some manners. Whatever. So she goes inside, throws her bag on the floor, and just face plants onto the bed. But the second she closes her eyes, she hears something knocking, but not at her door. It was actually coming from inside the room. So she gets up to investigate, but the knocking stops. So at this point, she couldn't sleep anymore. She was kind of scared, but trying to brush it off, trying to distract herself. So she turns on the TV and all the channels are playing the same thing, a commercial. Welcome, mortals. This Halloween will be one to remember. It was actually a commercial about the hotel, so she laughed and said, yeah, right. So she falls asleep and wakes up to a hot, very hot breeze. The window was wide open, but she didn't even know they had a window. How can they have a window downstairs? She gets up freaking out because she sees this light that kind of resembled fire lights, you know, when you have like the fireplace lit. Yeah, that's what it looked like. So she was freaking out. It was coming from outside the window. So she just thought the place was on fire. She then gets closer and closer. She looks out the window only to see a desert on fire and a bridge made up of what looked like corpses. Yeah, she knew it wasn't fake though because she could smell the burning flesh. She screams in horror as literally all the faces of all the corpses just stare at her. They like look at her like this, like, oh my gosh, oh, this is so creepy. They just stare at her and start begging her for help. What would you do if that ever happened to you? I don't even know what I would do. That's terrifying. To even think about that, to even picture that in my head, down. Some of these corpses didn't even have mouths or anything, but she could hear them anyway. Some of them were saying like, turn back, or something like that, kind of like whispering it, you know, kind of like they were scared of someone hearing them say that. If that makes any sense. They were saying, turn back, it's Halloween, you shouldn't be here. Suddenly, a loud bang echoed behind her. She turns around and the TV is back on. Only now, it's not really a commercial. Want to know what it is? Brace yourselves, because what she saw was herself in the room. Yeah, she was just standing in that exact room right now, like it was live and filming her, and she could see that on the TV. This is beyond terrifying. The only thing that was different is that her face was kind of melting. Her mouth was stitched shut, and behind her she saw something crawling out of the wall. She screams and opens the door to get the hell out of there, but to her surprise, behind the door was just a wall. She starts freaking out, not knowing what to do. She unplugs the TV and covers her ears. She was terrified, obviously, because the screams of pain of those corpses were just disturbing. The TV turns back on, even though it's unplugged. Her eyes wide open in fear. And on the TV, she sees a hotel. This hotel. And jack-o'-lanterns outside with a text written in bloody fonts that said, welcome to the Halloween Hotel. You checked in after midnight. You cannot check out ever. So she immediately grabs a chair and tries to escape through the vents, and she finally makes it to the hallway. But even the hallway isn't the same. I mean, it looks the same, but it feels very, very off. Like you cannot be there, you know what I mean? She runs and runs, and the more she does, the more lost she feels. So she slams on one of the doors of one of the guests, and when they open it, she screams in horror because, well, in that room is a woman with no eyes and a wide smile that looked like it had been stitched. And just before she started running again, she noticed that inside that woman's room was bodies on the floor, bleeding. She kept on running and knocked on someone else's door. I don't know why, but when they opened the door, she saw a full-on skeleton sitting in a rocking chair saying, "You're the last guest," over and over and over. The lights on the ceiling start to flicker. Orange, then red, and orange, then red. And the way it was doing so reminded her like of a heartbeat. You know, she turns around and the front desk man is suddenly like right behind her, holding the key to her room. Only now his face is actually jack-o'-lantern, and the face was glowing from the inside, carved into a sinister grin, and his voice was really creepy. It was like a high-pitched voice, and he said to her in a very aggressive way, "Checkout was at midnight." She starts running for her life now, like running faster than she ever ran. And she keeps on tripping over buckets, you know, Halloween buckets filled with bones. The wallpapers were just peeling like skin. And from now on, every door she was opening would lead her back to her room. Back to room 666, back to the TV. But now the TV is showing the hotel lobby. A new guest just walked in. He looked tired, confused, just like Lizzie did. And there's the front desk man again, handing them a key. Room 666. Now, no one has seen Lizzie since that night. Her family got mailed her belongings with no explanation whatsoever. Just a flyer for a hotel that never even existed. And actually in her bag, her mom found a journal that was explaining everything that happened that night. And at the end of all pages, all it said was, "Get me out of here, get me out of here, get me out of here. Please get me out of here." Now, every Halloween, someone reports a weird little hotel tucked into a hill and it's not on the map. No cell signal, and the only room available is room 666. So, if you're ever driving on Halloween nights and you see a hotel with a jack-o'-lantern in the lobby, just keep driving. Don't stop, don't even slow down, or you might end up checking in. Once you check in, you cannot check out. And like I said, this actually reminds me of the song Hotel California. You can check out anytime you'd like, but you can never leave. What do you guys think, and what would you do if that ever happened to you? You know, we never think things like this would happen to us, but you never know. Thank you so much for watching. Like, comment, subscribe if you haven't already, and share this video with a friend who likes spooky things. Why did I do it like a cat? I really hope you guys are enjoying this spooky month. Thank you so much for taking time to watch this video. This means so much to me. And I'll see you in my next one. Toodles!